Welcome, guys, to episode 3 of the Everything Post podcast. Hopefully, you guys are coming back to check out these clips, etc. And yeah, go for it, man. What are we hitting on?
That was you, bruv. I think you say you had something for me.
Yeah, I did. I was meant to mention this last week, actually, but it was about that. Did you hear about the Syrian kid?
The what?
The Syrian kid that came over to the UK, obviously because of the craziness going on over back in Syria. But then some kids started bullying him and his sister. Did you hear about that?
No, I seen you mention it. Like, I seen you mention something, but I didn't see nothing to do with anything. But I seen you mention it. But
All right. Yeah, it's madness. Like the kid fled Syria to come down because of like all the bombings and all the craziness going over there.
Yeah.
And they started in the school, and all of a sudden these kids think it's okay to start bullying them about that. And there was like the clip that was shown on like the news and everything of like this bully like choking him and like pouring water in his face, talking about he's going to drown him. To be honest, I can't even remember where the place is. But it was some madness. I thought it was crazy, also considering the fact that what's it called? The schools and everything, their solution to it was the kids should move schools. Like it was the dumbest thing going. And I mean, I
feel like that's just like, I feel like that's the system pretty much overall with like a good majority of the schools. It's almost like that's their way of handling it. Like, oh, let's move the kid or get him moved to another school or whatever, and hopefully that will sort out the issue, and he won't have those issues going forward. But that ain't the way, bro. Like, that's not the way to go. Schools need to start finding new ways in order to handle.
Like, I personally think they need
and to tackle them really and truly. You know what I mean? Too many times I've been hearing of these situations. You know what I mean, in terms of schools, and bullying. And like, don't get me wrong, but I'm not saying that some of them haven't really. They've done. Some of them have done. Sort of their part in the sense of like raising awareness and like trying to really tackle the situation. But I feel like a good majority of the schools, more than likely, like I just feel like you get that typical response of let's move him or her, and and then. Maybe try to deal with that pupil or the pupils that were involved in the bullying or whatever individually or whatever, you know what I mean? Because maybe it's a deeper rooted issue in that sense to do with them as individuals or whatever. But
100%.
And that could very well be the case. But I wouldn't necessarily say that removing that pupil that's being bullied from the school
is going to do
necessarily.
It's not fixing anything. The problem is still there. All you're doing is getting rid of like whatever triggers whoever the bully is. And for me, the reason why that kind of pissed me off even more than it would a normal person is like, one, I haven't been bullied in terms of physical. It's been more verbal. In school and stuff, and most of the time it's kind of been from mates and pairs, whether it's joking or whatever, and someone steps across lines, and me being me and not being really violent, I was like, screw that shit.
Right, you see when I do this, something's coming.
What?
So I was thinking about this probably not even that long ago, just bullying in general. You get me? Just a random day, and I was just thinking about some of my old school dates.
Okay.
Bruv, like, obviously, like, I've had this conversation probably with a few people, like, in the past and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, when obviously we kind of go over the topics of, like, or, like, have a discussion about bullying. But, bro, you see when it was me and it came to bullies.
Yeah.
Fam. Like, I went to at least, like, 3-4 different schools in primary.
Okay.
So, I think the last one that I ended up in was, like, basically in another part. But like, it wasn't in a part where I would typically class this as my ends in that sense.
Okay.
But like, I knew people from
that area
basically, or whatever. But obviously, you meet new people, or you see new faces, you don't really know the art, etc., etc. And I remember, obviously, like, I can't remember it all too deep. To like, I can only remember like vividly, sort of like parts and that. But like, you know, you just get the typical man trying to start on you. You know, they're giving you funny looks and that. Like,
were you someone to like react to that?
bruv, my reactions, yeah. The thing is, right, obviously when it first happened,
Yeah.
it was kind of like, how do you deal with it? Like what do you do? Like, I'm just thinking at this point, like, I don't even know what to do. You get me? Like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking that I know I've been in situations before and I know I can handle myself, but how do I handle this situation? Obviously, these kids as well, or whatever,
Yeah.
they're older than me. They're like a year or two maybe older than me. So I'm thinking, how do I deal with this person here
Without getting your ass beat.
You know what I mean? So that's what I'm trying to say. So, you know, as time went on, and I remember like, it was only probably like, you know, like looks here and there, kind of like a little bit of a shove, might try kind of like have me up a little bit and whatever kind of thing. And I just remember, bro, there was a day come by and I was just like, I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But just some random day. And obviously I must have been in the classroom with one of these dudes. And literally, I reached the stage where I was like, nah, I've had enough now. Like man,
Jeez.
like bro, everyone's getting it. Everyone that's been giving it to me now is gonna get it in it, all individually.
Anybody could get it.
So basically,
That's
obviously,
crazy.
my man's leaving now. He's going to the bathroom. Yeah, I just thought, fuck it, I'm just gonna follow him. So obviously made up some excuse. You get me? Made up some excuse.
Bruh.
So obviously, like, yeah, miss, I need to go to the bathroom, you know, toilet, whatever. You get the little pass, whatever. Fam, I just done a Phil Mitchell, you get me? I just put his head down the toilet.
For real?
I don't give
For
a
real?
shit, bruv.
No,
I was
that's
like,
crazy.
Nah, fam, real talk. I rolled up a man. And I can't even remember what I was saying word for word.
Yeah.
But basically, I just wasn't having it. And literally just put my man's head literally right in the toilet and just said whatever I was saying. And that was basically, don't mess with me. And basically, like, I'm not having it, blood. So you don't even know you don't know who you're messing with, innit? True, I've been holding it down, but
that's
bruv,
literally like cinematic film style.
bro,
Reaction.
one by one, I was ticking these guys off one by one. I can't remember all the situations, but there was another dude as well.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if anyone else has had this, but he was a typical dude of like, not that it matters, but it was a one white dude basically, yeah.
Yeah.
And basically, like, I don't know if anyone else had this in their school, but obviously when my man used to get mad, his face used to go red, innit? So
I mean,
so blood.
That's the usual shit.
So this was the case of, it was a thing of like, in the playgrounds, it was like, yeah, you know, don't mess with my man because, you know, when he gets angry, his face goes red, and like, you don't want to go there kind of thing. So I don't know if my man was doing this on purpose or like if it was just a thing, like his face going red. But I remember,
I swear, like, obviously, I don't know firsthand, but I swear that's just the thing with white people. If
not necessarily.
okay, actually,
not necessarily.
Not necessarily in terms of getting angry.
No, but I mean like the
yeah.
face. I mean the face going red. But for me, I felt like
I thought it was.
No, listen, I don't know if that was a just something that he was putting on at the time, or whatever it was.
It's almost like when they get embarrassed or something, isn't it? Or is this like a red
bro?
type
This
thing?
is you look at my man. My man's vets. He's screwing. There's no his face is angry, innit? Like he had a face right where you wouldn't even really want to approach him. That's the kind of face he had, but it was just red. So it was like he was kind of like, yeah, he's bored up now.
Yeah.
And that was what, in the playground or wherever it was in school, you didn't want to mess with my man basically if he was in that state, innit? Whereas me, I thought, I don't give a fuck. Fuck this. Like, who does my man think he is? You get me? Like, so I just remember being in the basketball court now, just playing basketball with like whoever, and he
The shit
happened
that goes
to be
down
there as
in
well.
the basketball court for real.
Yeah, and Yeah, bro. Again, pretty much near enough the same incident. You get me? Obviously, not the toilet,
Toilet.
but
Fam,
yeah, this
somehow
yeah,
your school had a
yeah,
toilet
just
in the basketball court.
the same thing, bro. Just literally, my mum was screwing up his face for whatever reason. Thought that I was gonna get shook and back down, and then I just turned him over in the playground. Like, just literally, just basically, bro, I put him down, and just was just like, what, like. Man ain't scared of you, bruv, like, because you can make your face go red. But I remember saying something along them lines as well. And after that, fam, do you think I ever seen his face go red again? Never. I never seen his face go red since that.
Is that because you weren't hanging around places he was, or he wasn't hanging around places
No,
you
bruv,
were?
I was hanging in the same bits. The school ain't that big, fam. The school playground is not that big. So I was hanging in the same bits with the same people, and I never see my man's face go red again. Not at me anyway. And from what I can remember, even really going forward. But obviously, not everybody's gonna handle their situation, or if they're being bullied in that way. And no one told me to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is not advice or anything that I got from
Yeah,
anyone.
100%.
This was just me thinking,
Just kind of reaching the limit.
just being me, and just
thing.
be like, well, boy, actually, hold on, I'm not having this. Like, I know these man ain't get me. I'm not having it, but yeah, everyone deals with their thing differently. But yeah, man.
It's kind of like not really similar in the sense that I'm just like, in general, I don't get physical with anyone. But when it came to like the verbal thing, again, I was new to the school. I started going there in like year 9 or something like that. And I was new to the school. I was super nice kid. Had never said a swear word in his life. The kid was always had the suit clean. Always was on time. Everything was great. Clean slate. All literally, I was a favorite to the teachers type thing. But so I couldn't really reply to people when they're going at me. So one, I couldn't reply, and even if I could, I probably wouldn't at the time.
Yeah.
Because of just how my personality fully was then. But then I remember with the verbals, I never really stepped into those zones where I had enough and I reacted. But in terms of physical, this wasn't even necessarily bullying. I just think this was a really stupid joke, because there was I again with Afro, I had my hair out and everything, and I always used to carry around a comb with me.
Yeah, bro. Which black boy in school pretty much
Fam.
did not have the Afrocomb with them? I was using that like a tool sometimes.
Fam, I only had like how many black kids? Like 3 other black kids in my school. It was crazy, and it was a small school. We had like in total somewhere about, I think it was less than 200 students in the whole school. So it was mad tiny school. Exactly. So so I had my comb and everything. So everyone knew me to be the kid that when his hair gets messed up, and again, because I was one of the few there, people are coming around talking about they want to touch my hair, or doing it without permission, or just messing it up and everything. So they know me for going to the toilets to go comb my hair out. And
that was a standard thing.
And it had to match my outfit. Nice clean cut and everything. And then this dude thought it was funny to pour yogurt in my hair. Dude opened a bottle of Yazoo he got for lunch, and I'm just stood there. No jokes linking to my hair, no jokes linking to me. I'm just stood there. Dude just walks up behind me and empties this bottle on my head. And I'm just there like, it just utter shock. Like, I can't remember what this was. I think this was year 10 by this time, or kind of like the end of year 10. So I'm just confused. And I'm like, what is going on? And then he runs off because dude knows he's fucked up. And so I start running after him.
Yeah.
In my head, what I was going to do was I was going to kick a football at him. So I picked up a football that was on the basket. Well, basically our basketball courts are kind of combined basketball, tennis, whatever. So I picked up the football that was there because it was lunchtime and everything. Started running after him. As soon as I got to literally just about this distance from him, I don't know what it was. I completely snapped and I just ran for him. And like the whole of that day, it was mad weird because everyone was kind of like, ooh, I'm not sure how to react, because immediately after the incident, his elbow got dislocated. It was a bit crazy.
Oh yeah, I was about to say. Like, I was about to say. Like,
it was kind of peak.
Did you get your hands on it?
Yeah, for real.
This man's doing
Like
bare running.
I was trying to do laps round
All
the
I'm hearing
field.
is your man was running.
Nah, like
Ew.
it was crazy because that wasn't even the intention at the time.
Yeah.
In my head, the way I refer to it and the way some people refer to it was like all the months and months of people messing with me, me not saying anything. It was just kind of building up to this one moment that I just completely snapped because in that second I had no control over anything. Dude ended up on the floor, his buttons ripped off, 80% of them. His jumper was messed up. He had to go to he sent me the the x-ray of his arm after he had to go to the hospital. But then again, me being the nice kid I am, I felt bad the whole day. As much as I was pissed that this happened, I felt bad that one, I had reacted like that. And two, obviously my reputation, hopefully I didn't want that to go down in terms of the respect certain teachers had. Obviously, teachers didn't really get involved with that or anything. But me and the dude were cool.
Yeah, but that's
and
fine.
everything.
But at the end of the day, bro, sometimes man need to be. Yeah, sometimes someone needs to be put in their place, and it's as simple as that.
I don't even think that's necessarily the case. I just think people are definitely hit rock bottom. Not rock bottom. Like,
what's he doing? Pouring yazoo in your head?
Like till today, I don't understand.
You don't understand.
It's like man genuinely ran out of jokes, and it's like, bruh, like
he deserved to get what he got that day.
He said it himself. Although me being me again, nice kid, I apologized and everything, and yeah. Ever since that day,
you know what?
Then again, most people in the school, not that they would have. There was this one kid that was a bully. Obviously, I'm not going to mention his name because I'm not trying to get anyone coming at me. He was more physical. He started fights, altercations with teachers, whatever.
Yes.
All these kind of people never really crossed my path in terms of coming at me. I was kind of cool with them because one, I was a decent kid. Plus, I was naturally built. I kind of naturally looked like I could take someone.
Yeah.
Even if I had no experience doing whatever.
Yeah.
So it's the kind of thing that you see someone who's kind of like built to some extent and you're like, nah, it's not worth testing whether or not it's waters to be in. Mind you, this kid that I got into that with, he was slim. He's like slim and lanky, like crazy. So it was even worse because
it's always
the effects from it.
It's always someone that thinks like, I don't care about my man's build, or they see it as a challenge, innit?
No, so I think he got way too kind of comfortable in terms of because we were friends. It's not like we had anything. It was pure just banter, start to finish type thing. Even now, that's what it is whenever we see each other. But it was hilarious. I kept the the X-ray, and every time I look back at it, I'm like, yeah, this goes on my street cred for real.
The street,
it was mad.
The street cred back then, it meant everything, bruv. It meant everything when man was growing up, because that's what you know what was such a thing back in school. I don't know about your school, but I know pretty much from where I was, bro. Like, it was all, who's the strongest? Who's the strongest? That was always the question asked in my school. From every school I went to, it was, who's the strongest? And my name was always, no gassing, but my name was always up there in that sense. If it was at number one, no gas. If it was at number one, blood, it was up there. So when you had new guys coming into the school, whether that be from like year 10, year 11 or whatever, or from when I was going around to different schools and whatever, it was always that same question coming up. And then sometimes it wasn't even necessarily me saying like, I'm the strongest. Obviously, sometimes it was.
There's definitely going to be those people that, for real.
But that's because
they want to test you. Some people,
but that's because I knew I could back it up though. I could back it up in the sense of like,
let's go.
Whatever. Let's go then, innit? Whatever kind of thing. It didn't matter what size you were or whatever. I just believed that I was the strongest, innit? But then, of course, I was thinking about it the other day, and I was thinking, actually, you know what? There was certain man in my school, much bigger than me, same year and that, like at the time, like they would have never been considered the strongest. Yeah. But really, like obviously when I'm having my little scuffles with them and whatever from time to time,
Yeah.
like if it's a play fight thing or whatever, if I'm thinking, yo, some of them man they was raw, they would have turned me over, you know, like they would have turned me over, but it's just that maybe in certain little transitions that we had for obviously our school time or whatever,
Yeah.
I just always kind of managed to kind of handle it well.
Yeah.
But
Nah,
yeah, man, the street
in
cred,
term
it meant everything. Yeah,
for me it didn't even matter because one, my the way people knew me had nothing to do with that. Anyway, and the school wasn't anything to be boasting about, considering how most of them. Yeah, I don't want to
But then
do that
again,
too
it's
much.
not about the school. Remember, this is street. This is street shit. It's street cred, innit? So really and truly, it doesn't even necessarily matter about the
Yeah.
school you go to. It's just about who you are, who you are as a person or whatever.
Yeah, I
Or
guess,
like
I guess.
what you give people the perception of, like this people perception of like who you are or
The reason why I'm saying like in the school is like
whatever.
if for instance you looked at a school and the majority, if not all of their pupils are scrawny little kids,
Yeah.
and you beat them
You're
up,
not going to be thinking no one's hard in that school, basically.
exactly.
Well, yeah.
That's what I mean by the school, because to some extent that could determine what the street cred you get from that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, nah, it was crazy. I was lucky enough not to get into much of that. Then again, I was friends with most of the year 11s, so I didn't really have any issues to do with that.
Yeah.
On rugby though, in rugby, that was crazy.
Yeah, but
that
rugby's
was
a different
crazy.
thing,
Yeah.
but-
Yeah, obviously that's like you guys know what you're getting into, and it's all about crashing into other people. And one, I didn't really get into it the first year because again I wasn't into the whole violence thing. Second year, I had a lot of anger in me that I needed to get out. So yeah, I was kind of like the kid that no one really wanted to mess with. And in my opinion, the strongest kid in the school, he was the fattest he was huge. I don't know what he was like. I don't know what height he was. He's huge. He's like towering over. Like the other day we were in the gym together and we were lifting the same thing. So as far as I'm concerned, like I said, I'm still on top. Then again, it's nothing to boast about. Trash school anyway. But
yeah. Well, that's the thing as well. And I like I don't want to give anyone this perception of like, yeah, when I was. Don't get me wrong. Like I had my moments where I would gas in it. But like even still, like to most degrees, like I'm not saying I was quiet, but I wasn't necessarily like loud either in that sense, or like really kind of boasting it up or bigging it up, like yo, like yeah, I want you to come test me and like get me, like whatever. Like it wasn't really that, bro. It's just like if I was faced with a situation, then it's just like
Let's
you
go.
know you have to, you know, you'd have to ask to be dealt, you know, you have to deal with it, innit? But like I wasn't asking for any trouble or nothing like that. But
nah, it was decent. But kind of back to that Syrian kid. I just searched it up and I'm seeing on the headlines, Bully 16 who attacked Syrian refugee has fled the country with his mother.
yeah, he fled.
But there's
Not even just moved home.
that fled. Man's on a speed thing. I don't get this, but it says with his.
What's happening? But they must have got some mad threats because to
I don't see why they wouldn't get mad threats considering the clips and everything. And the boy, he wrote a freaking statement talking about it wasn't anything racial. It was because we had an altercation earlier in the day. We were actually on good terms prior to that. I'm like, dude, are you stupid?
Let me tell you this, right? You see, if there's ever like a whole group or community of people and like of like obviously like if it was Syrian people, then like all, because I'm thinking back to a time where like to where like when like the like Somalians first came over, right? no, not on the deep thing. But I mean, like, no,
Last
bro.
week I was.
No, this is how you looked at it at this specific point, and how people still might look at it. But when they first came over, and obviously the school I was in, a good majority obviously then moved into that school, innit?
Okay.
So obviously, like, you know, like we're all cool and shit, you know, friends and whatnot and whatever. But there was always a thing of like, if you like, bruv, I'm telling man now, anyone that's in Bristol knows, isn't it? The Eastern, the strip.
Eastern. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
in Eastern fam. The strip.
Surprise.
Fuck, is it just say from the bottom of Stapleton Road, right?
Yeah.
Going all the way to Eastern Swimming Centre. Fam, everybody knows. That whole strip predominantly is all Somalian owned. So everyone's got shops there, yada, yada, yada. Anyone from Bristol or anyone that's gone there knows what it is, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, my point is, when you see that, fam, when you see that and you see 10 plus, 20 plus man there and whatever, all on the strip, blood, and it's quite a long strip. You're not thinking in your head. All you're thinking is, if you've got a situation with a kid that happens to be Somalian, and he lives in that bit, just forget it. Just forget it, blood. You don't want no trouble with my man, because they're rolling in packs. It's not some one-on-one thing or 5 man. It's all 10.
So they're rolling
plus
in packs.
20.
Oh my
family.
Getting rushed.
Mutual.
You're getting rushed for real.
Blood, you don't want to. Oh, bro, it was just.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how man used to look at it, innit? But like, obviously, I don't know how. Like, obviously, I can't really say like. Obviously, I imagine no one really looks at it like that now, innit? But when I was growing up, fam,
Potentially. I wouldn't
I
see
don't
why
know.
that wouldn't
don't
be
know.
the case, but yeah.
nah, but it's you know it's been like that for years now. So I can't really see that being a thing. Obviously, when they came over,
Yeah.
I literally can't even remember what Eastern was even like before they even came over, in that sense. So it's very, I can't even remember what it was like, but I just remember when they came. And
This
what
must
it
have
was
been
like.
time ago though.
This is ages ago, bro. This
Yeah.
is like at least what? I don't know, maybe 03,
Yeah.
05
Yeah,
or something
that's
around them
mad long.
early 2000s, basically. So
Jeez.
it might even be a bit, I don't even know. I might have to check that. But yeah, I just remember just that being a thing, and it was just like, yeah, that just felt like proper community, but you would look and you would have one look and just be like, everyone's together. Even when I go down there now,
Yeah, for real.
everyone's all still together in that sense. Like that, the street is pack up. The street is just literally pack up, bruv. Get me? You look inside the shop. There's just a bunch of man in the shop. Like, might not even be necessarily having any food, but they're just in the shop.
That's right.
So
It's
yeah.
that I find that quite quite cool and interesting. And even who was it that was, I can't remember who it was. They were mentioning to me that they find it quite interesting how black people have that whole thing where even if you don't know the person, type walking in the street thing, that whole nod thing.
fam, like I've even with being here, that happens to me sometimes. I just don't even know. I don't know the person. Don't know who this is. But we get that little glance. We make that little eye contact, and it's like,
Yeah. What's
like,
good?
yeah, you could,
Type
yeah,
thing.
cool, man. Or like, whether you say it first or they say something first, but it's just like that acknowledgement of like,
exactly.
yeah, there's like another
respect type
brother
thing.
kind of thing, respect kind of thing, whatever. So yeah, man, like I like that shit. You get me? Because at the end of the day, it's you know what I mean.
It's quite warming to know that like
Yeah.
even if you don't know yourselves from anywhere, you're still able to find, even without even communicating, you're already finding a level kind of point where both of you can relate on type thing, which I find amazing every time. Like prior to like 2 years ago, I used to think it was weird. I was like, what the fuck are you nodding at me for? I don't know you type thing. And then when I finally understood what it was, I was like, yo, that's freaking deep. And especially obviously when you look
man,
at all the craziness.
Shit's tough out there.
For real.
You know what
for
I
real.
mean? You know,
If you
and
look at the crazy stuff
everybody-
going on.
Everybody, you know, in you know, I can't speak on other you know,
Races and stuff.
like races and skin tones and that. But you know, if you're black, you just know what it is already. So when you
For
get
real.
that, you sort of like that acknowledgement, and you know you're passing someone in the street and it's that, and you just kind of like, You know what I mean? You don't know who it is, but it's
Yeah.
just like, yeah, man, like nice to see you. Hope you're doing well, kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
you know, just cool to kind of see another brother around or sister around or whatever, and like, yeah, bruv, you just know what I mean. So
Even Tom Segura, I think that's his name, the comedian. He made a joke about it, about how like in I think it was in New York or something. There was this black kid getting beat up, and another random black kid just runs in there and joins the fight. And he's there
yeah,
like,
straight,
rah, you don't know who this person is. Yeah,
yeah,
you're
straight,
still
bruv.
there
That happened,
defending.
yeah,
Nah, I
straight.
respect to that. And why can't humanity just be like that in general? It's just so depressing. It's crazy. Something had popped into my head. This is moving kind of like completely away from this whole area.
Yeah, go on.
Earlier
we
we
know
were
we always do this.
yeah,
Guys,
for real. Earlier we were talking about the whole 6ix9ine thing and how he's big and everything.
fuck
But
me,
but
bro.
did you hear that he's going to jail?
Yeah, I heard that he's going to jail. Do you think I've been paying attention? Absolutely.
Why not?
I've not been.
Why not?
'Cause I don't give a dollars.
Come on,
I
man.
don't give a shit, man.
For
That's
real?
why. That's
Nah.
why. And the thing is, that I've seen like, yeah, he could be going for 25 years.
25?
Yeah, I've seen
That's
like
if he's
20.
lucky.
I've seen like 20 plus years or so. Innit?
Like all the
But for
charges
what
he's
though?
facing.
What is the charges though? 'Cause
He's
I don't know what
facing
these
mad
charges
charges. I think it's like I don't know what it is, but it's mad. I think it's about 5 different charges. A lot have to do with weapons.
What? Just
on-
like carrying
on
weapons
license.
and
Yeah, maybe I could search this up, but
Yeah, you can search it, innit?
from what I saw online, it had to do with like carrying weapons, whatever.
yeah, but even to me, bro, it's just like, you know, I'm not saying that man should be carrying weapons out here and whatnot, but that's just like a standard, to some degree, somewhat out there, like a standard thing with someone of like his stature or whatever. Like most of these man carry at some point, like at one point or another. Like so, that's not unheard of. But
Nah.
I've not been keeping up to date on none of this whole 6ix9ine and my man's going to jail and whatever, or could potentially be going to jail and whatnot, and you could be facing this long and whatever, man. That man don't care at the end of the day. Bare people go to prison every day as it is, be for real
That's for
situations. Yeah, so yeah, like it's whatever.
Nah. Why do we care about this? To be honest,
What the
That's
fact
true.
that he's
I
going, the
can't-
fact
I
that
can't
he's
find
the
it.
fact that he's going to jail, or just 6ix9ine in general, because you know.
the fact that he's going to jail.
Oh, okay.
I know why we care about 6ix9ine, because the dude makes banging music, and this guy can't even appreciate.
Oh, bro. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't see what there is to appreciate, to be honest, and that's just
Nah,
in all honesty.
his I don't necessarily think he's a crazy artist. I just think his music has a vibe.
You know what?
That
No hate
rate.
thing.
Yeah.
It's just for, like, bro, like me, I'm in a different era. Like I'm in that. Like I'm not in this new era as such. Like I'm still, and always probably gonna be like in the old era, innit? Like the '90s era. Like listening to '90s R&B. Anybody that knows me or follows me on Insta like knows, or anyone that just knows me in general knows
Yeah.
that that's my thing, innit? Like I'm not, you know, or like new school kind of R&B and whatever.
So you're not getting
like-
down to Lil Pump,
and like other
Lil
stuff.
Xan.
I'm not in this little pistol thing,
Lil
little
P-
pump,
Perp.
little throttle,
Was it?
like, you know,
Can't
little will
remember his
turn, like whatever,
Will
like yeah, bro, all this,
Bro, man's
yeah,
making
all
up
this,
names.
yeah, all this mad stuff. Like man's not into all these little and all this and that.
Lils
Like,
and the
yeah, it's all like, yeah, man. I'm just like, I don't fuck with these man, innit? But like that's cool, because like
Yeah.
not everyone, you don't have to fuck with everyone.
I mean,
innit?
that's just what
And
it
don't
is.
get me
It's
wrong,
kind
it's
of
not
based
even-
on taste.
It's not even to say
Yeah.
that these man might not even have
Good music.
good music. It's just that I haven't come across anything
Yeah,
yet
exactly.
that I've kind
not
of been
crossed
like,
your
that
path.
my ears have picked up and been like, oh, like yeah,
This
this
is
sounds
actually
sick.
dope, yeah.
But I might hear a one tune and be like, oh, seen like, yeah, this is alright, this is decent actually. Then I might check out more of your stuff, but I've got to come across it first,
Yeah.
in order for me to, for me to kind of to be like that. I'm not just gonna randomly, like, someone could say, have you heard such and such's album?
Yeah.
In that sense, and you know, if it's not an artist that I really check for or
Yeah.
whatever like that, I'm not checking. I'll just rather come across the album when I come across it. Like,
Are you? So you're not someone who just goes out in search of new artists, are you?
the only time the only time I search for like new music
Yeah.
is like, and even when I do, actually, yeah, probably like it depends because every day or whatever, or when I, depending on when I do this, it could be different. I could be searching for new UK music,
Yeah.
or like just be having a browse. But the only times I can actually recall where I am literally looking for new music is like my like nineties R&B. Like when I've like
Wait, what do you
I'll
mean?
go like so, bro. Fam, my catalog of nineties R&B. I've got loads. So like if I'm just like if I kind of
I'm more
wake up
stuck
one
into
day,
the '90s hip hop type thing as opposed to the R&B.
yeah. So if I wake up one day
Don't get me wrong, it's
and I'm
dope.
just like, or I'm just having a day and I'm like, yeah, like I need some new nineties R&B or something. Like I just because there were so many groups. There were so many groups,
And they
or
had a lot of substance to them, as
bro,
opposed
loads, loads. I
literally.
found one the other day, and it's a demo. It's a demo tape, but fam, the tune is cold. I don't know. Is it? It's either let me say that again. It's either Atlantic or it's Interscope. Either one of these two,
Yeah.
right? Like, but they didn't put it out. They didn't put it out like officially,
Yeah.
sort of thing. You can't get this. You can't get this. This what I think it was like a mini album or whatever. You can't get it, bro, because obviously they probably didn't sign it or whatever. But the tune is a banger. The whole thing is a banger. But you're never gonna be able to get it. Like, it's only luckily for someone back in them days actually buying the tape or whatever, like the demo tape, and then
Yeah.
obviously uploading it to YouTube. But yeah, fam, like if I wake up or whatever, I'm like I said, or I'm having one of them days and I want to hear some new R&B shit or whatever, because that's me to the fullest, then I'm looking hard. Literally,
That's decent.
I'm searching. I'm literally searching, but I know I'm gonna find something though, and I always
Yeah.
do. I always find a group or an individual or someone that's just like,
Dope.
yeah, man. So
Yeah.
that's my error, innit? But yeah,
Yeah. For me personally, I just go and like if I'm looking for new artists, like there's some days that I'm just completely tired of listening to the artists that I listen to alone. Like I'm just tired of just hearing the same stuff that I know word for word type thing. Not necessarily that it's bad, it's just that you just get exhausted after hearing it for too long. And I go on like Spotify, whether it's a radio or something, and just go through it. And there's some dope artists, especially nowadays, that they go completely unnoticed. Whether it's like, well, not completely unnoticed, but like they're not at the point where they should be with the talent they have compared to the Lils and the Zans and whatever that are topping the charts with absolute trash. And then again, that's essentially what the charts is absolute trash. It's usually on there, but that's just my opinion. But it ain't mad
well,
like
as
that.
far as I'm concerned, and obviously this is gonna be different for everyone.
Yeah.
Within their what time they was born and whatnot. Sort of like whatever they was born in and whatever. But for me, bro, nothing's ever gonna top '90s R&B or just like no. But that's for me though, personally. Nothing.
Okay.
I'm saying for me
in
personally.
general,
Though. This is
R&B
for me
Yeah,
personally.
yeah.
I'm
I'm just trying
yeah,
to figure out what you're talking about. Yeah.
I'm just saying, yeah.
Is it
Nothing's. What?
is it '90s R&B in general, or is it a certain part of '90s R&B in terms of
there's only
whether
there's
it's
only
the
one
lyrics or sonics, or is it just
The
in general
Sonics,
for you?
bro. The
Right,
Sonics of '90s R&B. You can't.
It's got a different feel.
There's no Sonics like it. That's why it's just in its own. It's in its own league,
lane.
innit? It's in its own lane. Like
Completely.
you can't. Like there's not unlike '90s R&B, bro.
Yeah.
Like obviously, yeah, you get like like the new school stuff.
The new school stuff is mad.
Bro, I like the new school stuff because obviously
Yeah.
it's referencing or sampling
Yeah.
pretty much stuff from the '90s, isn't it?
Yeah, it's purely just
that's
building
why
off
I can
of that.
mess with it and I can jam to certain tunes and whatever. But when you just get me, when you go back, you just get the old school,
The roots
feeling.
of all
And
of
obviously,
it.
that's what I grew up to, innit? I grew
Yeah.
up to listening to or not listening to it, but like hearing it, like
Okay.
whether that was on TV or that was on radio or that was like my mum or my dad playing it from like, whether that be CDs or mini disc or whatever, like that, or tape. Like that's just what mine
Vinyls?
grew up.
Or nah?
It could have been, but not that I recall. Not that I
Okay.
recall. But
I never grew up with
yeah,
vinyls.
yeah.
I wish I did.
Yeah, or like not even, or like 70s or 60s stuff.
Whoa.
Earth, Wind and Fire, the Isley Brothers, like, bare different people from.
Yeah, those guys.
That's my ever, innit?
Yeah.
So as soon as it gets to like 2000, it's like, it's a completely different thing. As soon as we get into 2000, we're just probably talking more UK stuff now. We're talking like garage, we're talking grime,
Okay.
we're talking all
That's such a
that kind of
switch up,
stuff,
though.
with like probably with like a bit of pop in there,
Okay.
in between. But that was like, but yeah,
Blur the
originally,
lines a bit.
yeah.
No, that's not too bad. No, that's crazy. What was the thing you wanted us to hit on earlier?
Put on earlier.
Yeah. Prior to me starting my convo on this Syrian kid.
Found out I don't have a clue. You've lost me, bro. I don't know what man's talking about.
Nah. Initially, you said you had a few topics you wanted to go through. Yeah.
Yeah. But I can't even. To be honest, I can't even.
Nah, for real.
There's loads.
This is madness.
There's loads, and there's some of them are sensitive. So I don't.
Ooh.
Some of them are sensitive, but
Okay.
I will certain ones I will touch on another day. I need to think about it a bit more. But from the top of my head, now that you're asking me,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, do I even really want to go into this one? To be honest,
It needs a
Not
whole
that-
podcast
that
to
it's-
itself.
Yeah, not that it's not that it's sensitive, but it's just
It's deep.
no, it's not even deep.
No.
Because I didn't even really want to speak on that. Like, based on our first episode, we kind of spoke about the love thing and blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
innit? But, obviously, in my mind the other day, I was kind of thinking, like, just in general, like, no cliche, but is
just
it
gonna be
getting
cliche.
harder to find love? Like, that's what I was asking myself, and I thought, well, boy, it must be.
Like genuine one,
No,
100%.
yeah, I mean, like, genuine. But I thought it must be, because, bro, think about how much
so much complications.
how much dating stuff there is nowadays. So much dating apps, so much dating shows.
I don't
and
even.
like,
I
the
don't
whole
even
skill.
think. I don't even think that's what it is. I think.
No. But what I'm
wait.
saying,
the fact that they're having shows.
What I don't know what that was. But
That
what
was
I'm
a camera.
saying,
That was a camera.
what as in like it's off, or it's on. The camera's moving mad bookie.
What's going on?
Wasn't expecting these kind of technicals on the at this kind of stage, but it's still warming and shit happens. But this is mad, bruv. But yeah, anyway,
Yeah, I think we'll have to cover that in the next.
like I was just about to say to you, we will definitely cover this topic in the next one. Like,
Yeah.
but that's
Because
why
I was
just-
about
yeah.
to go into some deep stuff in terms of that whole
Yeah, I
technology
know, but
killed
this is why I
childhood.
was thinking to leave it to another one, because I just knew
Yeah.
that one was going to be a somewhat
Next
longish
week,
one.
we're gonna be back with that.